Hello. Uh, Hello, welcome. Come on in, guys. Um, I appreciate everyone joining me tonight. Give you guys some time to get in here. And this. Welcome, Tamika Davis. I see that you were here. Alex, Mom's Madness, welcome. Just being Sierra, welcome, Sierra. Welcome, Queen. Hey, Just Jackie, how are you, sweetheart? Good to have you back again this week. I really enjoyed having you last week. You had so much to add to the conversation and a different viewpoint as well. So thank you so much. Hopefully, you'll be bringing some of that energy back again today. I'm good. I'm good. I'm still blown away by the outcome of that whole Vicky and Casey White thing. I'm not sure if you guys all heard about it. A lot of people have at this point. The 10.5 day manhunt down in Alabama with the corrections staff, because I don't know her job capacity at that point, but she escaped. Well, she assisted one of the inmates with escaping from the prison. A lot of unanswered questions because the whole time the manhunt was going on, I was trying to figure out how they had one person transporting a murderer. So I mean, just any inmate I thought was always supposed to be at least accompanied by two of the prison officials, but she was able to do it on her own. They said she was second in command over at that prison. She had been working there for 20 plus years. Very sad. Obviously, they had an affair going on that no one seemed to know about. And it was supposedly going on, I believe the last thing I heard was 4 years. Um, she was taking him out to an appointment and kept going with him. It was discovered that she sold her home for $90,000, which was way under the market value just a few days prior. And she took all of her funds from the bank. Yes, and they went on the run. They switched over a number of vehicles. I believe in total it was four. They said this woman was very calculated. When you look at it, Sierra, because I see you're shocked. So when you look at it, you're going to see a lot of different news stations and reporters following this story. um, Very traumatic. She had an elderly mother that lived next door to her in that home that she sold, and her mother is just like so blown aback by it. Now, right, it was crazy. I was thinking the whole entire time that they were on the run that he was going to end up manipulating this woman and killing her. Welcome, Team Happy. Thank you for being here, sweetheart. Um, and she ended up, from now until they get the autopsy report, it says that today's latest update that I read right before we started was that when they were on that high-speed police chase, because they were hiding out in the motel that they had booked for 14 days. I think they were going to lay low and get their plans together as to where they were going to move next. Tyjon, I'm not talking to you. And the man was 6'9". It is a crazy story. Yes, Alex. The man was 6'9". How was she going to hide him? They were thinking that she was going to have him in disguise as a woman in a wheelchair because it's hard to hide his height. They were showing different ways that she looked in wigs of different color because she was all blonde while she was working in corrections. There was a former worker that worked under her that she terminated about 7 months ago or something. And he said, even though she was 57, she looked all of 75. So she had a way to easily disguise herself, and that she would be right in their presence while they were looking for her and they wouldn't even know it was her. So it was a lot of mixed emotions going on. I was seeing things on all different social media platforms. And that's what you get when you get a story so big that's global like that due to a manhunt. You have people that do not feel empathetic at all. You have people that feel really sorry for her friends and family because they said she lived a very good life, never got in any trouble prior to this, so they can't understand what triggered her. Now they did say that she and her husband was divorced for about 3 to 5 years, but they still lived in the same home until he passed away last year, and they think psychologically that has something to do with it. But we don't know. Unfortunately, like I said, when they were on that high speed chase, she said to dispatchers that she had a gun, she had her finger on the trigger, and by the time the car flipped over with the high speed chase and they were apprehended, she did have a gunshot to the head. They still want to wait on the autopsy to determine if she really did it or if he did it. But they were both taken to the hospital. They were reporting yesterday that she was in grave condition, and by last night, I found out that she did pass on. So it's kind of hard to take a stance on a story like that, because, in my opinion, she made a decision to do this. Like, this was very thought out, well calculated. She did sold that house. She took all her funds from the bank, so she was in her right state of mind. A lot of people wave, welcome, welcome. Team Happy, I want to welcome you guys for joining me today. Thank you so much for Happy Gong Gong. I appreciate you guys. Wave, we're talking about the manhunt that just ended yesterday, that started out in Alabama. And I think they ended up in Indiana. It was so sad, but yeah, she's passed. Um, you don't know what to say when it comes to stuff like this. I just know that she was in her right state of mind when she made all these decisions. And once I found out she wasn't held against her will, this was something that she did, I stopped having that sense of empathy for her. It is what it is. Unfortunate, a lot of people make poor decisions. It's just such a shame because they said she was near her retirement and she's gone. She could have been traveling and doing so much with her life, but instead she chose to help that guy escape from prison and put everybody at risk whom they came in contact with. Now, I did find out today that they had 4 handguns and a semi-automatic with them. And that Casey reported to investigators that if the car did not flip over in a ditch and it ended the way they did, they planned on having a shootout with the authorities. So again, feeling sorry is no longer an option. It is what it is. I feel more sorry like for her mother, people like her dog, but she didn't think about her mother or her dog when she made that decision. And people like rest in peace, rest in heaven. And I'm like, I doubt that very seriously. But I mean, I'm not the one to say where someone ultimately goes, but it's just what it is at this point. So tonight, our discussion is going to kind of piggyback off of where we were going last week. Come back here and sit down. The topic is ladies stop being a meal ticket. And I'm talking about who is that? It was a manhunt, a national manhunt. Her name is was Vicky White, and the guy was Casey White. She was a staff at the prison, second in command, and she helped this murderer escape from the prison. And they were on a manhunt for 10 and a half days. It ended last night. You got to look into that, Wave. It's Vicky and Casey White. Very interesting. Very interesting. Um, as you listen to it, you're gonna like I was going through a whirlwind of emotion while it was going on, right? And I was following it since it first happened, which is about 13 days ago now. I was following it day to day, and I was like, oh my God, this man is going to kill her. Yeah, I just went over everything. 20 years she worked there, clean record, no issues whatsoever. Second in command at the prison. I don't know why they was allowing her to transport this inmate by herself, but girl, helped him escape from the prison in Alabama. Um, she had sold her home for $90,000, which they said was way less than the market value for that home. And she withdrew all her monies from the bank, and they rented out a hotel room for 14 days um, in Indiana. And that's where they were. They had eventually ditched 4 automobiles. Well, the fourth one was what they were called in, so 3. Um, and the manhunt ended yesterday. She was in grave condition, and then by last night, she died of the gunshot wound to the head that she told dispatchers that she had the gun and she had her finger on the trigger. So they're going to wait for the autopsy to see if she did, in fact, pull the trigger or did he do it. But I was always saying that I was thinking that he was going to eventually turn on her and kill her. But it seems like she killed herself. And he is back in custody. Thank God. Our family, our journey. Welcome, Deandra. Thank you for joining us tonight, Queen. It's been a while. Good to see you here. We're talking tonight, ladies, and like I said, it's piggybacking off of where we were last week. And this one is tonight's topic: ladies, stop being a meal ticket to men, and I'm talking about both local and international. I'm going to approach tonight's topic with questions just like I did last week. You guys can answer open and honestly on how you feel. I bet you do. You always at some type of practice and all. I think the last one I saw, you guys, they were doing some type of practice, but it wasn't even mandatory, but they wanted to go anyway. And I was like, wow, they are dedicated. Tyjon, don't go down there with no noise. You understand me? Okay. So, the first question is, how do you, or anyone that you know, how do you think they get comfortable with taking care of a man or what I call an adult child? Like, how do you even think women get to the point where they feel comfortable in taking care of a man or an adult child? I know a lot of different situations where friends of mine, and this was in my younger years, but there are still some doing it currently, and even women that are more seasoned and or older than myself are taking care of men. And I often wonder, how did they get comfortable doing this? Yes, Tyjon. No. That's why you're up here. Go back over there. That's just why you were up here. I can't wrap my head around it either, Jackie. I know love make you do crazy things, but a lot of women that I have come in contact with, just like in the work environments, and I feel like they like get comfortable and they start telling me about their problems, taking care of men. A lot of women that I was befriending would meet a new guy, and before you know it, she started buying him gifts and stuff. And I think that in a lot of times it starts out that way. You start thinking, oh, this is just a little pair of sneaks, or this is just a little chain, or this is just a little cell phone or whatever. But once you start doing that kind of stuff, you give them the sense that you are, and women, we do this a lot. We take the role on as mother, and it's not your child. We start doing things that we wouldn't necessarily do. I want to say now that we're older, but like I said, there's still some women that I know that's even older than myself who are still taking care of men, trying to hold them down during the struggle. Yeah, that seems to be um like every time I hear a woman explain while they're doing it, because even when I'm talking to coworkers or friends and I'm like, but why are you doing that? It normally comes down to they didn't want to leave them hanging. So yeah, when they're struggling, that's a question I can't answer because I can't understand why a woman wants to take care of a man, or why the man would even want that. Exactly. Why would a man even allow a woman to take care of him? But it seems to be the new thing. Like, men do not have a problem with having women take care of them. Can't take care of no one because I had 4 kids to take care of. So sorry. Exactly. If I had one or none, I'm not taking care of no grown behind men. Women, the same way you get these men tend to be the same way we lose them. I tell people that all the time. Been there, done that, but I'm not holding nothing down or the struggle. Girl, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. Feeling sorry? Uh-huh. Loneliness plus desperate. Exactly. Men be trifling. What? Yes, girl. Listen, 80% nowadays are trifling. They sit back and laugh amongst other men with the way they're getting over on women and stuff like that. And it's sad. But low self-esteem, exactly, Wave, but on whose part? Hers or his? Because it got to be both at that. If she's able to be manipulated into doing it and he's able to sit back and let someone do it, like, you got to have some low self-esteem. Even him, because he got to make himself feel bigger than what he really is. It's crazy. And I can't wrap my head around, how do relationships even get to this point? When you start off fresh with anybody, that's when you lay down your rules. That's when you let people know what you will and will not put up with. And that's setting the tone in which the outcome of your relationship will be. So that's just a no for me. How long will you date someone locally before considering marriage, or internationally before considering marriage? And is there a difference? Um, I have asked some people that I work with, and two of the ladies said they were considered dating internationally way quicker than someone locally, and I was blown away by that. And their reasoning is because I need my man with me, like, right away. I'm not looking forward to be dating long distance. And I'm like, yeah, but you got to get to know this person. There's an advantage of dating someone local. You got access to them, more access, even if they're not right in your town. Okay, 3 to 4 years locally, internationally, never. Okay, you don't know about that one. It can depend on a lot of things. Okay, a lot of people said that way. They don't do long distance. Okay, Jackie, that's coming up later. Because trust me, this is going somewhere, guys. But I have to start off slow and get us going there. Right. Okay. So Deandra said that could depend on a lot of things, and that's true. Um, Wave, don't do long distance. I feel you. Hello, Miss V. Welcome. Thank you for joining us, Queen. I appreciate having you here. Tawala, welcome, Queen. Thank you for joining us. We're talking to women getting the thoughts of how women feel about dating local, long distance, and international. And the topic is women stop being a meal ticket. I've shared for the past couple weeks that I've been going into one of my gentleman friends' lives, and his a lot of his topics are the thoughts on the modern day women. It is a group of men. They are bashing us over there. Um, oh my God. They're like, they are turned off by American women. They getting their passports. They're going international, dating foreign women because it's less drama to deal with. They started saying that these international and or foreign women are not interested in coming into the US. And I'm like, no, that's not true. And I was the only female in there speaking up. I think it was a total of three in there, but the other two were silent. And I'm like, no, foreign women are looking to come into the country. I don't know where you got that false sense of reality from, but that's not true. And I was explaining that there was one guy getting a bit indignant, like, don't listen to MrsAmaechi. She don't know what she's talking about. And I'm like, sure I do. I'm married to a whole Nigerian man from Africa. And I know that when we speak with his family and friends, everybody want to get hooked up with somebody because the goal is to get to America, no matter how they got to do it. Um, if they find like one of their female family members or friends dating someone for America, they're going to push for her to marry, so that she can get into America and then turn around and invite them in. But, it was a whole discussion going back and forth with my views versus their views. And they were saying that they had some military friends who set these women up in foreign countries to run businesses, and the women were happy and content with that, because they were greasing their palms, and it wasn't nearly as much as they would have to give the American women. And so they were happier with that. And again, these women didn't want to leave their family or their culture. Right. I would have a tracker on his phone, call him all the time if I couldn't handle it. You would become obsessed if you dated someone long distance that you couldn't access or internationally. It's a lot that comes with that. Again, I am married to a man from Nigeria. It's a lot that comes with immigrations. I would not sit here and encourage anybody to go through that process unless it was something that they absolutely wanted to do, because it's not something that just happens overnight. It is a long, drawn out, tedious process. Um, Years and years go by, you think it's all over, and here comes some more paperwork because there's steps to this process. You start off with getting some documents so that you can work, like your work authorization and stuff, and travel documents, but that's only with the individual that filed you in. So for myself and my husband, it would be me. He would be able to travel with me. It's like having control over the individual, but at the same time, you're responsible for anything that happens with this individual while they're in the US. You may bring somebody in from a foreign country, you have no knowledge about their criminal history, and they may do something, and guess what? You're accountable. So you got to be mindful of everything that comes with dealing with immigrations. First of all, you have to have a, um, a very good record, meaning criminal history and just citizenship, because they check so much of your documentations and stuff like that. So, women, before you go getting into these international relationships, I would encourage that you think this thing through and look into some things because it's not easy at all. Not to deter anybody, but you got to go through a whole immigrations interview. They want to make sure that the marriage is real. They go through, sometimes they make visits to your home unannounced because they want to make sure that you and the individual really live together and this is not an arranged marriage. They ask you at your interview some crazy questions. You may think it's crazy, but I understand where they're going with it. They'll say like, "Where's your kitchen trash can located?" They'll ask you different things about that house because they want to make sure they have you separate, asking you the same questions, and they want to make sure your answers come up Similar, if they knew that the man was married before, they're going to bring up back history from their country and stuff that they may have gotten entangled with here. New word, entangled. In the US, and they want to make sure that he's being on the up and up with you. I mean, they sometimes tend to share things with these wives that they were unaware of, and that's a deal breaker right there at Citizen. No. And I told you, don't come up here with the whining. We already went over these rules. Stay up here with me because you keep fighting with everybody. Nope. Stay up here with me. Go get the tablet and come on the couch and play with the tablet. Thank you, sir. The tablet died. Go get the other one. He got excuses for everything. I've seen when my husband and I was at immigrations, because you have to go up there for so much for different documentations and passports and stuff like that. So when we're up there, I've seen a number of things. I've seen a lot of people being deported. No, Tyshawn, go have a seat. I've seen deportations and everything. Let me go back real quick. Helenista, welcome, sissy. Thank you for joining us tonight. A lot of long distance and with one person cheating eventually. True wave, very true. I'm married, but I feel that I personally would not do long distance dating because that's not something I'm willing to deal with. It is a lot, Tawala. It's a lot with long distance relationships. Double lives, we're getting there, wave. Yep. My father was married. I'm sorry. My father married my mom for a green card, and he brought his whole family over, and they all treat her bad. But she the reason why. And that tends to happen. That's another area we're going to ease into. Long distance relationships are expensive to maintain. They really are. It costs a lot of money. If anything happens as far as the documentation, you're back to square one. You have to start all that process over again. 9 times out of 10, it's a way for immigrations to make money off of us. I'm here late. Busy day at work. No problem, Erica. Thank you for joining us again, Queen. Welcome, Heather Fling from Colorado. Welcome. Are you a content creator? As far as international dating, pray on it and don't be so easy to fall in love with no information. Right. Date with your mind, not your desire, lust, and wants. I couldn't agree with you more, Tawala. So we're moving to the next one, guys. Do you truly 100% believe that your partner is being faithful if you were in a long distance or international relationship? I think I kind of know. Someone already said. Well, let me get the majority on this. Do you think the partner can be faithful in a long distance or international relationship? Honestly, there are some who are committed and faithful. I will say that. I do know people personally. There are a larger number who are not faithful that I do know personally. She said, no, not the men. I know that. Welcome, Evelyn Cardona, Team Happy. Welcome, Queen. Thank you for joining us. There are some that, right. Don't go looking. My thing is they said that, but rather you look or not, it got to be something going on. Shoot, half of them can't even be faithful and they live in the same house. There you go. I'm with you. So sad, but it's true. Cheryl Lynn, welcome, Team Happy. I appreciate you being here. Again, there are some that I know personally who are completely 100% faithful, but more times than others, they are not faithful, guys. It's a lot. It's a lot. You got to think. People have wants, needs, and desires, and your bodies do too. So it is what it is. Do you find, and this is where we're going again, financially, it's okay to assist men with financial problems when you're dating them? Because again, what I said a few moments ago is the way you start off these relationships is the direction that you get them to go in. Once you start off helping, you're going to help up. Like I said, it'll be a small cell phone effort. Oh, it was just an outfit. Oh, it was just a pair of Timbs or whatever. And then it get the small stuff turn into bigger things, ladies. Partners could be faithful if they want to be. If both thoughts are realistic, that is probably not happening, depending on distance. Okay, Miss V. Yes, one should not be crushed as, but wait a minute. Be crushed as, but says much about the character, if not open relationship or acknowledging dating others until one comes to town. That's true. That's true. But unfortunately, more often than not, when you're in those long distance relationships, what people really hold on to is the I love yous. I love you. I love you. I want to be with you. I want to marry you. That's really all they got. That's all that they have that they consider tangible. So, not getting too involved is not an option because you're not. It's not like a person that you can go around the corner and see, or you could set up a lunch date or a breakfast or whatever, and see throughout the course of your week, even if you're busy. This person is so far away, you got to make arrangements. So all you really do is concentrate on how you love this person, and you tend to tell people in long distance relationships that you love them way sooner than you would with someone living here. 9 times out of 10, it's because the one party feels that way, and it's normally the foreigner because they fall hard and quickly. They're saying it, saying it, saying it, and then you, as the American woman, tend to feel obligated to say it back. It's more or less lust and infatuation, but we go ahead and say this back to these people, and it has them kick the door in. TSM Rapper, welcome, welcome. Thank you for joining us, King. Open relationship. A lot of them won't agree with it. Not with you, however, they be in one on their own. The show 90 Day Fiance opened my eyes to how many long distance or visa marriages occur. Oh, yeah. And I'm telling you, I watch that a lot, and a lot of that is true. People like to say it's not. A lot of that is really true. And you notice there's a lot of families trying to deter the individual not to bring this individual into the country. And it's a lot you're held accountable for. You are responsible for this individual. Like I was saying, there are steps. They have to get their working permits and stuff like that. And then they have to go through the interview process to get their green card. You don't walk out with the green card. It is mailed to you within a certain time frame, I think 7 to 14 days. But after that, you can get your non-driver's license. There's still a lot of paperwork and stuff like that. And then at some point, you get a 10 years green card. Then you got to apply for citizenship and go through another whole interview. It's a lot. And throughout these years, while you being a productive citizen or not, they are constantly writing letters and sending correspondence to your home where you and your wife and family are supposed to be living. And a lot of times at this point or before this point, you fall out with your significant other. You're separated. You're dating somebody, she's dating somebody. They can find all this stuff out. It's harder to keep up with lies than the truth. And I always tell people that all the time. Plane tickets, phone calls, etc. Too expensive. Exactly. Well, now they got that whole WhatsApp. So it's not as expensive on the phones and stuff with certain countries, because certain countries, they still got to do a lot of phone calls, cards and stuff like that. I used to buy everything when my husband and I was teenagers, but once he got a job too, baby, he only got money spent on his birthday or Valentine's, and when he okay, right, you can't be taking care of these men like they're your children. Can only imagine how hard that would be. I wouldn't want to do it. A lot of people are doing it. It seemed like it's becoming a whole new fad. I don't understand what looks so glorious about it. I work for Department of Social Services, and sponsorships are a serious thing. Exactly. Exactly. They do. Family members invite them in. And a lot of times when they get invited in, they stay over their invitation period. And so now they're here. And guess what? You're responsible. You invited them in. They're here. They're going to eventually get deported if they get caught. If you sponsor someone to come into the country, you're responsible for them. Right. Reporting income if they seek assistance. Yup. The green card process is rough. Yes, Ms. V, you know. Thank you. Thank you, Wave. I appreciate that. It is. It's a lot of work dating foreigners, guys. Yeah, some do need data to call on WhatsApp. But again, it's the most cheapest way besides calling through like Facebook, Messenger, and stuff like that. And those things, listen, the reception is horrible. It's back to the calling cards and stuff. Depends on the relationship and the person. It depends on what type of people y'all are. Sometimes y'all can build together. Yes, sometimes it's very successful, but more often than not, it's not. Do you find it's okay? We went with, if you will, assist them financially when dating. Do you believe in meeting or speaking with family members before getting serious with a person? And this could even be somebody local. But do you believe in meeting their family members and stuff before you decide you're getting serious with this individual? And when I mean, do you agree with bringing them to meet your children? Do you in turn meet their children, their mother, their siblings, aunties, whatever? Do you think it's okay to be meeting folk if you're not sure if you're going to be serious with the individual? My thing is no. I believe in meeting the family, but they don't really have an influence on me or our relationship or whatnot. Okay. Yeah. I don't want to meet anybody until I decide if you and I are going to move forward. And that's how I was with my single self. I'm married now, so but I can still take you where I was mentally with my single self. It was no need for me to meet all your family and stuff. My sister and them was like, "You said you was meeting a new, you was seeing a new guy. What happened?" I was like, "He's around. Like, why you ain't let us meet? Oh, his career ain't gonna last long." I told everybody I shoot from the hip. I can see, and I shared this in the past, where things are going in our first couple dates. So on day one, if it ain't go nowhere, you don't even call me no more, because I'm not be, and you shouldn't be either. And trust me, you will know, because I make it very clear. Um, if I thought day one was, let me get another feel. But still, you don't need to meet nobody. I don't need to meet nobody. We can meet up and go about our business. Um, no, if it's not serious, yes. And no, Erica, right. Nope, barely. Hold on, it jumped. Know them. Why I'm going to meet their family. Hell no. Exactly. If you just met someone and casually dating, no meeting family, especially intentionally setting up a time to meet. When my husband sis met me for the first time, she asked me my intentions. Right, because a lot of the families do come in asking sometimes inappropriate questions, and you be looking like, why are they asking me that? Like, now you're wondering, did they tell them something, or is this the person just being nosy? Like, it, you don't know. You really don't know. Angel, welcome. Thank you, Team Happy. I appreciate having you here. Thank you. James Money 615. I appreciate you joining me, King. Thank you so much. Um, he is a bit much. I don't believe in all that meeting and stuff if it's not serious. That's just me. Everyone's different. Are you resistant or reluctant to date long distance or international when they start talking about marriage? Like like if you befriend some people, because I know a lot of people are going on the dating apps and stuff now, and you find a genuine interest in the individual and you opt to share your phone number with them, and so y'all start speaking off of the site. Once they start moving too fast and start getting in your head to see how you feel about having more children and or marriage, do you become reluctant and or resistant to continue pursuing that person? Not on the first date, but yup, I gotta know where he comes from before I lock it in. I would have to do my homework. He could be crazy, right? How a person interact with my family. Okay, so you want to see how they interact with your family. Okay. Well, sometimes you can get someone who will grab you by the knees and milk you dry. Right. There's no right answer. It's all about the person's heart. They will I met family and still milking you. That's true. It's their intentions. If their intentions are bad, 9 times out of 10, they know how to play that game. We have been dating for 6 months or so, and we were at the point to set it on. Okay, okay. Would you elope to someone who you never met but communicated only online? Good question. Good question. Wave. I know. Okay, so let me tell y'all a story. I had a friend whose auntie went to Jamaica on vacation with her girlfriend, and she met a gentleman there. And the friend met. Okay, so there was two guys, and it was her and her friend. So they were dating these two guys while they were in Jamaica. They were there for a week, and they met like on the second day. So they spent a lot of time with these two gentlemen. Now, never mind the other couple at this point. We're going to talk about my friend's auntie. Um, her and this guy, of course, slept together and all that. And when they both, he flew back home, she flew back home, and they talked for a whole year, um, online, on the phone, stuff like that. At a year's mark, he had sent her some tickets to come back because he wanted to meet her back at the same location as a cute little 1 year anniversary. And that's what they did. So just her and him at this point. So they spent another whole week together. Oh, she said she was swept off her feet. This woman was head over heels, all this good stuff. Okay, okay, Deandra. Um, Said he treated her like a queen. He was telling her that he wanted her to move over to his country. But she was like, no, I would prefer if you come to mine. When I go back, I can start the paperwork process, all that good stuff to invite you in. We can get married as soon as you got here, whatever. When they spent their last night together before, they were going back their separate ways again. And he was really, really telling her, like, I love you so much. I can't see myself without you. This good stuff. Right. Red flag. So the next morning he went, and her flight was leaving first. So he went with her to the airport, saw her off and everything, gave her a bag, gave her a card, and told her don't open it until she got the plane. She thought it like, oh my God, this is so cute. Girl went through everything. She got on the plane take off. She opens that thinking like, oh my God, like, I don't know what she thought it was going to be. But here it is, a letter. This, and I can't say the word because YouTube going to get me, wrote a letter and told her that he had been diagnosed HIV positive. Well, actually full blown. And that they gave him a certain amount of time to live, and that he loved her so much that he wanted to take her with him. So the love was unconditional. So he knew that he slept with her unprotected and then gave it to her as well. That was so selfish in my point, in my eyes. And like 2 months later, he passed. And not even a year and a half later, she passed. So you have to be very careful with going with these passport and meeting these people Tell you all this good stuff, they love you, and all this elopement and stuff like that, because you never know. This is someone she met on vacation, enjoyed her time with. He treated her like a queen. This is every woman's fairy tale. Um, and look what happened. It's so sad. I'm too cynical. I feel each needs to see the other in their habitat. Yeah, when you live together, you really say exactly. Week together or weekend here is not enough time to know someone. Exactly, Ms. V. You really have to know somebody. Wow, that happened to my classmate. Oh my God. It seemed like once my girlfriend told me that story about her auntie, I started hearing stories like that more and more. It was just so crazy. Crazy. You have to be mindful. You have to know who you're dating. You can't just be, and it's just even people you can just meet in your everyday lives, but you got to know who these people are. You have to date people. You can't just be rushing into things. Women, you have to protect yourself and your peace and your body, which is your temple. You have to make better decisions. Um, we tend to, like I said, get caught up in lust. And before you know it, we're taking care of these men. They're taking advantage of us. 9 times out of 10, when you're taking care of them and providing them with a vehicle and stuff like that, they're driving another woman in it. They're driving to another woman in it. It's just crazy. We have to be mindful. You have to be what you call selfish. You have to make better decisions. You have to. You can't just be so head over heels for this man who honestly 9 times out of 10 is not going to feel the same. Don't want to deter anyone from love. Just know who you're dating. Just get to know who it is that you're dating. A lot of the stuff that we go through can be completely avoided if we made better decisions. Um, the next question, guys. Ooh, upside down. What's a deal breaker when dating, long distance or international? Like, I know people say immigrations would be a deal breaker if you were ignorant to the fact and then you learned you had to go through all this. That could be a deal breaker. It is sad. It's sad. It happens. um because you got to keep in mind, guys, a lot of these foreign men have women already, wives and families. They're not always 100% honest. Okay, not being a citizen would be a deal breaker. Yeah, yeah, not a green card. Hmm. And I feel bad because every foreigner is not necessarily looking for the green card, but it's just so hard to weed out who's who. Um, a lot of my husband's friends refuse to date Nigerian women. Like they've had enough of their own women, just like a lot of American women don't want to date American men anymore. So I kind of get it. But again, how do you weed out who is who? Yes, he gave a letter and found out what a plane. Virgin Islands. Oh my God. Yeah. That seems to be, I'm telling you, once I heard that story, and like, you talk to people and they like, yeah, I know that happened to somebody. I'm like, so what's this? Like, this is a new thing. Where are they getting this from? Like, it's just crazy. And to me, it's selfish. Now, one person I shared that story with was like, oh my God, that was true love. That is not true love. He did not give her the opportunity to go along with it. He didn't even share it with her. She found out at the end, like, no, that's not true love. That's selfish. He loved her so much he wanted to take her with him. Like, really? Yeah, you don't intentionally hurt someone you love. You did it as revenge. It's crazy. Listen, you have to be mindful who you're dating, ladies. A lot of foreign men, and I don't want to deter someone who may be in a relationship with a foreign man or seeking one, but I have, I didn't know these people personally, but I knew like a girl I worked with was telling me about one of her situations where um, her friend was dating a man from Africa, and I believe he was from Cameroon, and he was here with her, um, but he was legal. So this is one where she didn't have to get him legal; he was already legal in here in the States when she met him. But they started dating, and they started having babies, and they were happy and in bliss. And then, like 4 years into their relationship, here comes his sister that he filed in, well, sent the invitation, filed in for a student visa. Sister came here, did school in here, got through school with honors and everything. Lived with them down in the basement, him and his wife upstairs, kids and stuff. Sister graduate. Sister moved to the house. He moved with sister because guess what? That wasn't his sister. That was his wife. That was his wife. And those wives go along with that foolishness so they can get here and get what they need. It's normally a girlfriend, but in that case, it was his wife. She was okay with him sleeping upstairs with his other family because think in those cultures, a lot of them are good on arranged marriages and stuff like that. But can you imagine having this person live under your roof and y'all helping her financially and cooking and doing all this? You were a sister wife, unbeknownst to you. And he put her through school and all that. And now they move on and you left high and dry with your kids. It's crazy, but it happens all the time. Yes, she said, sad, I'm going to jail. Don't go to jail. It's not worth it, honey. It is. It's insanity, right? That is what they do, Wade. I knew you were familiar with it. Yes, they do it a lot, all too often. Look, Wade was like his girlfriend. It was his sister. Yes, Erica. Scary. Very scary. You have to be mindful who you're dating, guys. It happens all the time. Um, I don't be believing anybody. I remember me and my hubby went to a party, and when we left, this woman was like in his face. And I don't think he felt comfortable when he kept saying to her, like, I'm married, I'm married. When I left, I'm married, I'm married. But obviously, she didn't believe it. So she kept like pursuing him. And he was like, no, I'm married. So the next week when they had a gathering, oh, he made sure I was there. He took me. And he brought that woman to me like, oh, here's my wife. And he wanted her to know, like, look, I don't play no games and none of that stuff. And I told him, like, he didn't tell me the story about the whole woman pursuing him and stuff like that, but he did it his way. He made sure I was with him next week, and he brought that woman and introduced her. So when we were leaving, I asked him, like, Tony, like, who was that woman in the yellow that you brought to me? That's when he told me the story. And while I did appreciate him telling me the story and being wholehearted and honest, I just told him, I said, the next time something like that happens, you tell me. Because as a woman, I was supposed to check her. I was supposed to let her know. I said, you didn't arm me properly because you didn't tell me this information beforehand, because I would have never greeted that woman the way that I did. I would have checked her and let her know, don't ever cross those boundaries again. If that man told you, or any man, because I'm speaking for all of us American women that date those Nigerian men that's at that function, tell you that they married, because what man is going to tell you up front? Obviously, he don't want you. But I just was a little upset with the way he presented it. But then I looked at it like culturally, they do things different. But he knows now. He knows now. Anything, I tell him, if it smell like a rat, dead cat, or bat, you make sure I know about it because I want to handle it the right way. I don't play those games. She couldn't get him out the country for being married and lying about paperwork. She could, but she wouldn't. And I'm gonna tell you why. They take care of you financially. They're not like American men. They do not have a problem with paying bills. A lot of the Nigerian men, not just Nigerian, foreign men, I'm sorry. I don't want to put that on Nigerians. I'm sorry, you guys. I like to be open and honest. A lot of foreign men And I'm going to speak about Africans and Jamaicans because I've dealt with them the most. They don't mind taking care of you financially. A lot of times when there is no other woman and they are here in the States and you guys end up separating, they will still be paying your bills and stuff like that because they like to come with peace. They don't like too much confrontation. They don't want to get to the court system because they don't do all that in their countries. They don't do all that um, child support and domestic and all that stuff in their country. So they try to appease you. So they make sure that even if you're separated, they take care of you financially. That's one thing I will say. Hazley, welcome, Team Happy. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you. And so that makes women, pump their brakes when it comes to having them deported. You prefer Caribbean? Okay. All right. If you notice, I said to you guys before, my husband is not the first African guy I dated because I am one of the American women that made up my mind that I didn't want to date American men anymore. So I get it. Yeah. Um, they got too comfortable, in my opinion, calling us outside of our names and the just total lack of respect. Thank you, Tawala. I appreciate having you here. I will be over to visit, sweetheart. I'll pay you a visit. I'm taking your name down now. Appreciate you coming. Um, I made up my mind, yeah, that I wasn't dating any more American men because they got so disrespectful. And I can't put it on 100% all American men, but I'm just saying, just sitting back watching other people's relationships and where things went south and just hearing stories from my girlfriends and my family members and stuff like that. I just if you're treated like royalty, you're not going to go back to that other stuff. And that's just what it is. Kat, welcome, Queen. Thank you for joining us, fam. I appreciate having you here. We had a great topic going on here. Um, so I want to know, well, we started off, but the next question, guys, is why do you think women tolerate or endure so much from men? Is it still, do you guys still you felt in the beginning, loneliness, desperation, um, low self-esteem? Do you guys still feel the same after the whole discussion? She said, oh, heck no. Yes. She said, I hear you. So I'm glad I'm not single. Ever sister. I'm going back reading some of you guys' responses. Yeah, do you guys still feel the same way? That it's low self-esteem, loneliness, stuff like that that makes women tolerate and endure so much in a relationship because I see women take so much and I'm looking like, girl, he's not even all that. Like, what is your problem? I'm like, he must got some platinum stuff down there. Like, I'm not understanding. Okay. Okay, Erica, I knew you had Zoom. Thank you for coming, sweetheart. Too loyal. Yeah, well, later for that. And then last question, why do you think women make so many excuses for men poor behavior? Not enough self-love? Okay, I'm with you. Because what I do, I see a lot of women backpedal. Like they'll start telling you stuff, and I'm talking about like my coworkers and stuff, like casually talking, and I'm like, girl, why you be putting up with that? And then they try to back. Well, he don't be. Mm-mm. Stop making excuses. Stop making excuses, because the moment you start making excuses, tells me you haven't had enough. He haven't put you through enough yet, and you're gonna endure some more. Stop making excuses. Put your foot down. Say what you mean what you say. You know, um, it's just like with child rearing. Because if you notice in the beginning, I said, stop. taking care of men or adult children. Hey, Mako, appreciate you, Queen. It's the same thing as child rearing. When you tell your children something and you give them consequences, once they do it, once they break the rules, you have to stick with your consequences or they'll never take you seriously. It's the same thing with dating a man. When you date men and you tell them what you are and aren't going to accept in a relationship, the moment they start breaking those rules, you have to have consequences, ladies. You can't just fall for all of that foolishness and keep making excuses for them. When you make excuses for them in private, before you know it, you're doing it in public. He hear you making excuses for him, and what's going to stop him from doing the next thing? Because he know you're going to excuse him. He know that all he got to do is give you some makeup sex and y'all back on track. Stop falling for that. That's what I meant earlier when I said stop giving your body and or temple away to everybody. Protect your peace. Don't settle for that foolishness. It's not worth it. You're worth so much more than that. Um, 9 times out of 10, a relationship is based 80 to 85% on sex. Yeah, in the beginning you talk, you have the pillow talk and all that, but at the end of the day, you're not seeing each other a lot of hours throughout the day. If he's working and you're working, or you're working 2 jobs or whatever, and you're seeing each other on scheduled time. So you're not seeing each other all day, every day. Even hell, me and my husband live together. We don't see each other all day, every day. I work one shift, he work another. We see each other in the middle. We're not talking the whole time we see each other. We bring each other up to speed on stuff, and then we go on about our business. He have things that he have to do. I have things that I have to do. So sometimes if he's leaving the home, I'm staying in with the kids doing what I got to do, and vice versa. But stop making excuses. Team Happy, welcome, guys. Thank you for coming in. Stop making excuses, and maybe they'll stop doing that stuff to you. Put your foot down, ladies. You will get a total different response from them once you start putting your foot down, or you say things that you actually mean and you follow through with consequences that you put out there. When I was my single self, I used to tell men that I was dating or who was pursuing me, like, listen, when you have me and I'm interested, you'll know it. But when I'm no longer interested and all bets are off, you're going to know that too. You got to look for the telltale signs. If I'm no longer interested and I'm moving different from the beginning, just look out for it. It's coming. And they'll say, okay, up front. But they don't necessarily mean that stuff, guys. They say that because it's in the moment. But I am just who I tell them I am. I said earlier in the conversation also that women tend to fall in love. The same things we fall in love with is the same things we fall out of love with. A silly example of that is when you meet a guy, you think he's all funny and cute and stuff like that. Oh, girl, he cute. He funny, girl. He be cracking me up. By the end of that relationship, that same jokester, he ain't so funny no more, because you know what? You got a lot of heated situations that happened along the way. A lot of disrespect happened along the way. A lot of cheating happened along the way. You're feeling totally different at the end than you ever did in the beginning. And so those same jokes don't fly over so well anymore. So ladies, again, the topic, stop being a meal ticket. Take time to get to know these men. You don't necessarily have to rush and meet their family and have them meet yours. Protect your peace, your body, your mind, your soul. Stop taking care of these men/adult children. Do what's in the best interest of yourself and your family. And if it's your single self, do what's in the best interest of you. Stop making excuses for these men. Make them treat you like the queen that you are. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. I really appreciate having you guys here. Can everybody do me a favor and give me a thumbs up? And make sure you leave me a comment when you exit out of this live stream so that YouTube can push me out more. Ladies, I will be back again on Tuesday for Family Feud and again on Saturday for Trivia Night. But next Tuesday's topics is ladies, relax your standards. We're going to talk about how women set the standards a little too high. A lot of women are still single. So, next week's topic, ladies, relax your standards. Thank you for joining me tonight. Love and respect to you all. Good night, guys.